Welcome to the Tradier Rundown. I am Jim Uriel. That's Bob Iacchino. Together, we are the hosts of Tradier's The Trader's Edge. Although our relationship is tenuous right now, and it may split soon because we're having a nasty argument about the way you pronounce that word across Bobby's shirt. I pronounced it Noki. I'm sorry that I didn't put the Y in there, Bob. Can you give people a lesson?
It's not an argument. It's me correcting something that's incorrect.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah, it's like me calling you Jime.
Right. Okay.
That would be an argument.
It's Jim, right? But you know what's funny is that, like, even my last name, you know that my family has somewhat bastardized it over the last 80 years, and we call ourselves Uriel, even though it's Iorio, you know. So
right, and I mean, I get it. My last name is not Iacchino; it's actually Iacchino. But I get
Iacchino,
I mean,
right?
Whatever. It's like people read it the way they read it. I think Greeks get mad at gyro. Like there's certain words that bother you, and that's one that bothers me.
Gnocchi, I'm going to say it your way forever. I will acquiesce. Anyway, we're supposed to talk about something else. It may surprise you. We're not supposed to do
it's not my way. It's the correct way. But go ahead.
The correct way, of course. Okay, Bitcoin been in the headlines since the first day in November. Bitcoin up until it's just gone down a little bit over the last hour or so, but had been up 10%, whereas gold is down 6%. It felt to me that at this election, the narrative that supported these assets flipped completely. Let's talk about the Bitcoin one first. What do you got?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously we elected as a country the more Bitcoin-friendly candidate. That Bitcoin-friendly candidate has asked to appoint a Bitcoin-friendly head of the SEC to replace Gary Gensler, who I personally, never mind, I'm going to stop right there. From a perspective of that shifts the narrative. But here's what bothers me, and it bothers me today. Okay, I don't know when you guys are watching this, but we just saw, I mean, I think we both agree it was a hawkish cut, right?
Hawkish cut.
Okay, so the Fed cut rate by 25 basis points, but they got off their sort of aggressive cutting cycle. They're still in a cutting cycle, but it's less aggressive. And so the NASDAQ got hit the worst of the equity markets, and Bitcoin got hit. I hate seeing those. Gold's been dropping anyway, right? On the backs of rate cuts and on the backs of a couple of other factors. And now we see gold is not rallying. Bitcoin is falling, and again, correlating to the NASDAQ. Now, am I wrong in saying it's correlation to the NASDAQ, or this just sell all assets and Bitcoin happens to be a victim of it?
Well, I think both things are true. I think there is still a correlation to the NASDAQ. Remember when this started trading as an asset several years ago, many institutions just threw it to the NASDAQ desk. They're like, hey, you guys are used to volatility. Trade this crap too. And a lot of times that caused somewhat of an unnatural correlation between the two assets. However, in this particular instance, like, I mean, we just pulled the plug on the market, and it seems like anything you made money on is being dragged down by things you might have to cover now. So I think that's what we're seeing now. But by the way, I think, you know, Bitcoin right now, I have it in front of me, still above the 100,000 level. Do you think it stays there? Do you think the talk of a strategic Bitcoin reserve is going to be a huge tailwind for this?
I think it has been. What I'm not sure about is if they're, you know, the sort of technical part of it. Are they able to do it? Are they able to actually buy enough Bitcoin? We all know that Bitcoin specifically, there's a few very large holders and then the rest of us, right? I'm talking very large. If the US government were to get a strategic Bitcoin reserve, how big would it have to be and how high of a price are they willing to pay for it? And I think those are the questions. It's easy to figure out the questions. When you're saying what the questions are, you don't know the answer. That's what I'm saying to you. But
anytime someone says that's a good question, what they mean is they have no idea what the answer is. Right?
You see this on financial news all the time with people there. The question now is, it's like, I know the damn question. I want to know the answer. So I guess what I'm saying is that the correlation part bothers me because gold has been dropping as the market has come to the realization that the Fed may not cut as aggressively. Bitcoin didn't. It followed the NASDAQ again. And so it's more of a correlative asset, and I need to see that correlation break down. I'm not saying I'm right about that, but I need to see Bitcoin be a flight to safety asset and possibly a currency and sort of detach from NASDAQ is up, so you buy Bitcoin.
So this is a little bit, in your mind, a little bit of a black eye. Like it's not a hold Bitcoin down at the ground and kick them till they're unconscious, but it's a punch in the face for Bitcoin, the fact that it's going down today.
Yeah, I mean, it's a punch in the jaw. It's not a punch to the temple. I would say this. If Bitcoin doesn't disappear as an asset, It has to go higher, right?
That's what I think too.
Either
That's why I
gets
own it.
somehow banned or exposed, or it goes higher. Those are the only two things. So I would argue with people that say, oh, Bitcoin is stupid, you can't buy it. Well, look, it's either going to zero or it's going to make a lot of people rich, including you and me.
Okay, perfect. I like the sound of that second part, particularly. You know how I feel about money. This has been Tradiers Rundown. I'm Jim Euro. That's Bob Iacchino. Please join us live at 3 p.m. Central Time Wednesdays on Tradiers, The Trader's Edge. It only works because you guys support it so well, and we are forever grateful. Thank you, guys.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.